Many times we're saying, God, bless me with more, and we're mishandling what we have. God doesn't give you more according to what you ask for. He gives you more according to what you can manage. And if you can't manage what you've got right now, why would God give you more to squander? And he said, I want to have a structure that can maintain the magnitude of the blessing that I want to pour into your life. And the Bible said that they brought Jesus the bread. They gave him what they had. And Jesus took it. And the Bible said, and he blessed it. He is blessing what is not enough. He is blessing 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Some of the most blessed people that you will ever meet have gone through something that broke them before they got the blessing. Because the blessing is hidden in the broken. The more that he broke it, the more it multiplied. The more he broke it, that's when it would multiply. He would break it and break it and break it, and it would multiply. Every time he broke it, it multiplied in his hands. Now, that's a spiritual law. That if God allows you to go through breaking, it is not to destroy you, it is to bless you. Because the breaking is what brings the blessing. Now, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever thanked the Lord for every time he broke you? Every time he snapped you? Every time he put you through a season of brokenness? He wasn't killing you. He was blessing you every time he was breaking you. Every time you were rejected, every time you were alienated, every time you were disappointed, every time you were cursed, every time you were told no, every time your heart was broken. Broken homes, broken hearts, broken families, broken hopes. The greatest blessings come out of the hardest breakings, and that's why we don't get discouraged. We understand, if God allows me to go through a plan that I never dreamed would happen, I thought it would be a straight shot to success and the goodness of God. But instead, I'm walking through a season of brokenness, like I never dreamed I would be. Good. That's a sign God is on your case. If he's breaking you, it's because he's going to bless you. He knows how to bless us out of the breaking. Didn't come until I got broken. Didn't multiply. Didn't increase until I got broken. The very thing you're cursing is the very thing God's going to use to multiply and bless your life. He fed the multitude through the breaking process. David said, "My cup runneth over." He is a God of overflow. He doesn't just want to give you enough. He wants to give you more than enough. God says, I'm not blind. I'm just a God of overflow. And I want you to understand that my blessing is greater than your capacity to contain it. My blessing is not limited to what your little glass says you can hold. But when I pour out my blessing, I'll pour out a blessing you won't have room enough to receive. It'll be pressed down, shaken together, running over. Shall men give unto your bosom? Don't you dare believe that God just wants you to have enough. He's the God of more than enough. He's the God of overflow. And He's not limited to the size of your container. Hallelujah. It'll flow over to your children. It'll flow over to your children's children. It'll overflow to the poor and the needy. It'll overflow to people who are going through a hard time. It'll come through your hand, not from your hand, because He's a God of abundance. It's so important to understand that they were following divine instructions when they encountered the storm. The enemy will tell you when you go through a storm, this is the judgment of God. The enemy will tell you when you go through the storm and through the flood that God's getting you back for your past. But I'm here to tell you the truth of God's word. Jesus constrained them, didn't give them a choice, said, if you're my disciple, under my authority, you obey my voice. Get in that boat and I'm God. He knew the storm was coming and He put them right in the path. I'm telling you today that if you're going through a storm, you're in that storm by divine instruction. And God does not intend for you to go down. He intends for you to receive something in the storm. There was a lot of people. The multitude were burping on blessings. God allows you to go through a storm. It is not to destroy you. It is to show you He is on another dimension and level that you've never seen Him move before. It's a supernatural force on your life that gives you power with God, and it gives you favor with men, and it causes the blessing to come on your life to such a degree that even if people try to curse you, even if haters start hating on you, even if people start attacking you, there is a blessing on your life that God says, because they have wrestled and they have desired what I had for them. I'm going to give them power with God and favor with men. Everybody shout, power with God and favor with men. The Bible said that in Hosea, he was weeping and wrestling. Weeping and wrestling. He was a desperate man. It's time for us to get a little desperate. But there comes a time when, as men, we need to wrestle with God for our families. And it's okay to weep sometimes, because I try to act strong in front of them. But sometimes I tremble inside because I don't have all the answers. But I can go and I can wrestle with God on behalf of my family. And I can wrestle and I can weep. All night, he wrestled and he wept. He was broken. He was desperate. You know you're desperate when you'll wrestle with an angel. They're not even in the same weight division. The Bible said in Psalms 8:5 that he has made man a little lower than angels. Psalms 120 says, "Bless the Lord, O ye angels, which excel in strength." One angel slew 185,000 men in the Old Testament. And yet he is so desperate that he wrestles and he weeps with that angel. Because he says, I can't let my family just be attacked, and I can't let my life just not matter, and something's not right, and I need to change, and I need something in my life that is forever changed, and I won't let go until you bless me. And what I'm trying to say to you is when you're really gonna get changed from God, when you're gonna go for more than the surface, when it's gonna be more than happy and clappy, and then you go right back to who you were and what you were in, the fear, the depression, the sin, whatever. If you really want to change, you have to lose the casual state of mind, and you have to go desperate. You have to say, Lord, I'm wrestling and I'm weeping. And he lost the casual state of mind. The angel is closely monitoring the fight. He could have killed him anytime he wanted to. But notice something. God is not interested in destroying you and hurting you. God is interested in changing you. He is focused on one thing. He wanted change in Jacob. He could have killed him, but instead, he just held on to him, and he let him fight until there was no more Jacob. His name means liar, deceiver. You know, he stole the birthright. He came out of the womb as a twin. His brother Esau, and he had his brother by the heel, and he was trying to remove him from the blessing, from the birth. Something in him was always lying and deceiving, and he was just shady. He was partly cloudy. There was always, he was that kid, you know? That was always, something's just not quite right about that guy. This was Jacob. I want to get the Jacob out of Jacob so that he can reach his full potential. The reason that God allows us to struggle, the reason that God allows us to have pressure and weeping and wrestling is not to kill us, is not to crush us, is not to destroy us, but to change us. We're not prone to change in comfort. We're not prone to change when we're on top of the world. We're not prone to change when everything's going our way. And God is more interested in your character than he is in your comfort. He's more interested in his will and his plan, and he wants to get to a point where he says, hey, you know that old you that always was playing the game? When I get through with you this night, there will be no more Jacob. you're going to emerge from this place as a prince with God. And you're gonna have power with God, and you're gonna have favor with men. And I'm going to open doors no man can stop. I'm going to pour out blessings on your life, and I'm going to use you for my cause and my glory. And I'm going to see you reach your full potential. We've got to become more aggressive in getting the blessing of God. We've got to hunger and thirst. We've got to get desperate. I'm telling you, the world is desperate, and the world is looking for some people who've had encounter with God. The world is looking for some people who have been so transformed that there's no more Jacob, and they have become princes with God. They have become people who have power with God and favor with men. Get more aggressive. And inside of every Jacob is an Israel, waiting to be renamed. Inside every Saul of Tarsus is a Paul the Apostle, waiting to be renamed. Inside of the drug addict, or the alcoholic, or the person who's got issues going on, there is someone that is waiting to be renamed. And God is saying, I'm ready to pronounce that there's no more Jacob. You are a new creation, and you have power with God, and you have favor with men.